can we not agree that we want to change the constitution, we want to change the electoral system? Then we should go either for a referendum, as many countries do, or a constituent assembly, something that can study it in detail and avoid this sort of spectacle that we've had until the last moment by the honourable speaker before me, Madam Speaker. So I think we need to review the way that our constitution is messed around with. No referendum, especially since the Alliance Le Peuple was elected on a promise not to touch the best loser system. Again, I don't know if it's arrogance, overconfidence, or maybe I missed something. But no one has contacted, no discussion with the PMSD, no koz-koze, nothing. Nothing. Now, I don't know whether other people have been graced. Now, Madam Speaker, I read in the paper the other day, I was in London. I read in the paper that the Prime Minister also was in London, and we must have met. We didn't meet, Madam Speaker. London is a big place. I didn't even know the Prime Minister was there. So I will tell you frankly in front of the Prime Minister here, there has been nothing. And I think also this is disrespectful. Because if you are going to change something of this nature, other members have raised it before, you must talk to the other parties, all of them. Okay, we don't agree. We would have agreed on the women. We would have agreed on the women. We would have agreed on the transfuge. We would not have agreed on the rest. I think that's fit for the bin. I said that before. We would have agreed on that. We would have got somewhere. So, une occasion ratée, c'est vrai. We would have at least got some way towards that. And I will explain fully later on what happened in that famous committee that everybody talks about. And Madam Speaker, we would have spared the ugly spectacle. I hope children were not watching. The ugly spectacle of Honourable Colin Davelou soliciting for votes in this House. Soliciting for votes, man, and the indecent spectacle, Madam Speaker. It was an indecent spectacle. It's an indecent spectacle. And I think it didn't catch any clients either. If I may suggest, the bill should be renamed and called the Avoidance of Domestic Census Bill. This is what it is, in fact. Because I'm sure that it's not really the intention of government to go into all this simagri of 12 here, 10 there. That's not what they want. Because when the PMSD asks for a census, nous sommes des communales, des racistes, etc., whatever. But when the United Nations requests that we have a census, are we going to say now the UN itself is racist? Madam Speaker. So the point I wanted to make was that the UN itself, as recently as a few months ago, September, requested ethnic data because it is worried about the situation of discrimination in this country, Madam Speaker. The religion issue, as I mentioned, the best user system, Hinduism, Muslims, religions. The religion issue is perfectly covered in the 2011 population census, and we have the figures. The figures are public and are on the Statistics Mauritius website. However, and I must say one thing, I looked at the number of people who refused to answer, who said, I'm not answering. Out of 1.2 million people, 8,000 people did not respond to that question, what is your religion? So if you can calculate, Honorable Ratna is not here, 99.4%, 99.5% of the Mauritian population responded to that question. And not only responded to that question, but straight away forgot they had ever been asked. And we have to remind everybody that question was asked. 99.4% of our population responded to that. So it's fair to say that no community in Mauritius, I'm happy about that, is a majority. There's a major community, bigger than the rest, But there is no majority, nobody comes above 50%. I'm an accountant, that is what a majority is called. We get rid of the best user system, we get rid of the census, and we adopt just one phrase and that will solve everything. Fair and adequate representation of, let's say we added that now to the bill. But, Madam Speaker, how would you determine what is fair and adequate? How? Best user system, it's fair, it's transparent, it's competitive, it is a written rule, it is better than anything else that is being proposed, especially not this, and it's totally absurd provision that leaders should, after the election, decide from glorious unknown persons, family, friends, donors, as if the House of Lords, on the electoral boundaries. I so wish that there were prison sentences for people violating the Constitution. I so wish that there were. Because you cannot have this. A terrible harm has been done to this country. Enormous harm. And Honorable Rupan was right. In 2009, there was cosmetic, mostly, attempt. Feeble attempt. Check it. To change some constituencies. Nothing near, but it was a step in the right direction, nothing near. The government at the time, I was not Prime Minister, chose not to bring it to Parliament. But the question that remains, and ought to be studied, is whether or not it ought or not to go to a government to decide whether the Electoral Boundaries Commission report should be adopted or not. Because in the UK, it doesn't go to the government. It goes straight to Parliament. Why? Maybe it should not even go to Parliament. There is a conflict of interest, Madam Speaker. We're all human. So if there's one electoral reform that needs to be made, is for us, firstly, to put real independence in the Electoral Supervisory Commission, Electoral Boundaries Commission. I mean, we have enough. I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to say anything nasty, but this is enough. It's enough. Cousins, friends, this and that. I mean, this is enough. We must have a proper, independent Electoral Supervisory Commission. We need to be able to redistribute the electors so that they're more equal representation. Because one vote, the votes have to have equal weight. That is a basis of elections. And I know Honorable Rupan is a major lawyer, but I have gone to see a QC specializing in this in the UK, and he has assured me of his support. We will take it to court. We will take it to court, because it is not legal. That doesn't mean that I want to have a débalancement. That doesn't mean that. And to show also that it's nothing to do with communalism. Rodrigues, Madam Speaker, 29,000 electors. If you take the average in Mauritius, each constituency should have 44,000 electors. Rodrigues doesn't need to have a third deputy. I'm sorry, he doesn't need to have. And if I may make a humble appeal to my friends from Rodrigues, get involved also in life in Mauritius, not just in Rodrigues. You are also Mauritians fully. When I ask a PNQ on Rodrigues, because I feel Rodrigues is part of Mauritius. There's no reason why you should limit your questions only to Rodrigues, pour Maturin and all that. Open it. Open it. And also, think of all these Rodriguans who are suffering in Mauritius. Thousands and thousands and thousands are living as squatters. That is also something, and honorable students agreeing with me, that is also something that you are going to be. Yes. Yes. That is also something that needs to be. I'm not saying this in bad faith. Huh? I'm saying that this is something that needs to be. Everybody in Parliament is a member of Parliament for the whole nation. So I don't think Rodrigues needs on the purely mathematical figure. And what is required, Madam Speaker, for nation building? What is required for everyone to feel secure is for an effort to be made. The boundaries, extension of the best user system, an effort to be made in the country. You cannot deny the problem. You can do as the French, put Autriche la tête dans le sable, but you cannot deny the problem exists and the problem needs to be dealt with. So government needs, this government is not more at fault than previous governments. It's not more at fault than previous governments. Maybe in some ways less at fault. Less at fault. I'll be frank also on that. So what needs to be done for nation building is to see to it that everybody gets a fair chance. That the word diversity should become everyday word in our vocabulary, Madam Speaker, that we are able to say that this ministry has diversity, the police force has diversity, the University of Mauritius has diversity, everybody has diversity. We must make a real effort at nation building. We must make a real effort for inclusion. I was Minister of Social Integration. Why did we create that ministry? Why? Does it exist? Obviously, because a lot of people haven't integrated. I would want to see one day that the Ministry of Social Integration disappears and that there should be everyone in this country, every minister, every PPS, every MP becomes himself an agent of integration, Madam Speaker. This is my wish and this is my condition for tomorrow, one day in the future, probably the distant future, that we would vote to abolish the best fruit system of all because we have reached the status of a nation. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Prime Minister.